Hello again, everybody, and this is Justin Pontarelli, and I'm back with another episode of Interstellar Pilot. And let me tell you, I just got done watching, the Senate session where they're voting about stuff to do with Donald Trump's impeachment trial, and it is really, really boring to watch. So, in comparison to that, this is going to be like a breath of fresh air. This should be fun. This actually comes from a subscriber request, asking me to do a nice battle, a stock battle, between a Magnus A-class and an Overlord A-class to determine once and for all, basically, which is the better ship. And by stock battle, we're talking about just what they come armed with by default. And the only way to get a fair battle to determine that is to go into the, I believe... Hold on, let me just see if I can get this right in the first try. No, this is the wrong pick. Yeah, this is not the right pick. Okay, that's fine. We'll fix this. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, we can maybe do this later, but we're not going to do this right now. Look at that! Flyer X-Class Trump. That's funny. Okay, menu, though. Let's go to, quit. Yeah, okay. I forgot where it was. Let me turn down the sound, too, a little. Well, that's fine. Okay. I think new game. There we go. Skirmish. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So first of all, you really can't make a good determination just facing off against the computer, because obviously I'm quite a bit better, last time I checked, than a computer. So what we're gonna do to make this nice and fair is I'm gonna play both as the Overlord and then as the Magnus, okay? Just to see in general which one is the best, as they are. In other words, no modifications to shields, weapons, armament, etc. So first, as the Magnus, okay, done. Then this guy's gonna be the Overlord. And done. Alright. So Team 1, Magnus A-class. Team 2, Overlord A-class. And, notice we do not have the box checked for random ship components. So it should just be what they come with by default, or what we call stock. So here we go. Now, the Magnus, in my opinion, guys, as you might have heard before, is weak against, like, a swarm of missiles. So in reality, if you had a nice ship, or a bunch of smaller ships, you could slob a bunch of missiles at this thing and be done with it. Because this thing does not have ECM capability. So that's going to be a problem, okay? So I'm just going to kind of charge in, kind of at a slant here, because this guy does have missiles. Okay. In fact, I could try to stop them. Oh, I have missiles too, but that's not going to make a difference. He has ECM though, so that's the problem. Okay. And I am a little bit rusty. Okay. Now, you might be thinking and asking yourselves, well, yeah, you don't have any ECM, but what about other stuff? Well, this thing does have more guns. I'm not gonna lie. Okay? The advantage of the, the advantage of this big bad boy is he has a lot of, It's got a lot of guns. Oopsie. Gotta turn around my front is, yeah, so now I'm out of missiles. The Magnus does have the advantage of having lots of gun ports, okay? But the Overlord has the advantage of being able to carry ECM, which means missile defense. Now I could try manually shooting down the missiles, but that can be a chore. And that can be something that I'm just not prepared to try doing. I am a little rusty, but we're gonna try to sit on the side of him where where I've got some shielding left. And that's not a lot of shielding left either. But he's getting down there too, so we can probably get him down there. All right, I should try to turn around here. Wait for it. Wait for what? Right, we're dying. Now the Overlord, though, if you check, does have superior armor. Okay, so this battle is not exactly fair. I'm trying to fire off weapons as soon as I get them on the screen, because you don't know when the last chance to fire off weapons is going to be. But we haven't started flashing yet, so now we have. Take it all back. This is it. Come on, baby, come on. Get him, get him. We're in the red here, we're in the red here. No, did we get him? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Awesome. See ya. The Sentinel by a hair. Mission accomplished. Just barely pulled it off. Alright then. Alright, but like I said, this is going to be a two-way thing, not a one-way thing. Okay? So next, we're going to reverse this. Okay? Edit team. Let's get the Overlord A on there. Take off the Magnus. Back up. Overlord. Edit team. Get the Magnus on there. Take off that Overlord. Okay. Again, stock battle. Everything's default. Okay, so this would be like this would be like the default weaponry, shielding, everything you name it that you would get if you bought these things in a regular game. Okay? Now let's go. Again, in my opinion, the Overlord does have an advantage. It might not have the shielding that the Magnus does, but it has armor, better armor, and the ability to stop weapons such as missiles and stuff through the use of ECM, which I've had enough practice with to know how to use it properly. Now let's have a little fun here, and let's take this thing apart, shall we? All right. First things first. Get within range. Oops, oh, wrong. That was a mistake. Okay, I'm not doing great so far. Okay. So you notice how I was able to dodge that. So you can basically stop missiles really easily with ECM, thus making them an ineffective weapon. But you can already tell that I'm doing a much better job with the Overlord in comparison to what I was doing with the Magnus. Now, unfortunately, though, I'm now out of ECM, so any missiles he has left are gonna hit. Like, now I can't stop them. But I did stop most of them. Okay? But the Magnus, unfortunately for itself, is out of, basically out of shielding. And that's the game right there. Done. The Express wins against the Magnus. That's it. Done deal. There we go. How about a little post-battle analysis? In my opinion, you know, these things, however, are really going to be dependent upon, you know, in reality, you're not just going to take an Overlord into battle with only 5 regular level 1 ECMs and only a small handful of missiles. And in reality, a player using a Magnus isn't going to typically take it into battle with just its default armaments. Okay? When I, for example, have used Magnuses, I equip them with maximum shielding, you know, maximum, you know, engine power, power core, you know, level 5 lasers, level 4 lasers, the whole 9 yards. And I turn those things into a beast. However, again, because it cannot be equipped with ECM at all, it is still vulnerable to a swarm of missiles. So, for example, if you get swarmed by a bunch of those small pirate ships, the bandit, you know, like a bandit fleet, you could die really quickly, okay? Whereas the Overlord would at least have some defenses. And because you can also load up an Overlord with ECM level 2, you can stop such, you can stop missile attacks like that. So you have more defenses in that sense, okay? And when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, you're talking about a ship that can be equipped with some rather heavy weaponry. I mean, they both can be, okay? The Overlord has the advantage of, like I said, ECM, okay? So, better anti-missile defenses, okay? And both ships have really decent cargo capacity, so both ships can be equipped with missiles, okay? Overlord's got better armor, though. And last time I checked, I was pretty sure that the Magnus could be equipped with better shielding. Okay. But missiles can be so powerful. I remember one time, guys, flat out, I took an Orion, equipped it with nothing but forward-facing military-grade, you know, launchers, loaded the thing with interceptor missiles, and within seconds, I dropped a Magnus-class vessel. That was it. Seconds. Okay? So it also comes down to what kind of opponent will you be facing against? Okay? If you expect to face off against a Magnus, or even a couple Magnuses, you can do great with just a bunch of smaller ships with missiles. Load them to the teeth with missiles, and that's it. You're good to go. However, if you're expecting to do some like really large scale fleet battles, okay, the Overlords are really well balanced ships. Okay, although they do lack the number of weapon hardpoints that the Magnus does. I think you guys might have seen, you know, noticed that when I was playing, that the Magnus really does seem to have like lots of weapon ports for missiles, lasers, whatever. And the Overlord didn't have quite that much. But you guys can also probably see how that, because the Magnus could not exactly stop the missiles as easily, I was capable of doing a lot more damage, a lot quicker against the Magnus, as opposed to when I was the Magnus fighting the Overlord. Okay, yes, I did win both battles both times. But as you noticed, the fight was a lot closer when it was me as the Magnus versus the computer as the Overlord. I just barely managed to win. And it could have been anyone's game. All it would have taken is the computer getting a couple lucky hits on me at the right moments, and I would have been dead. Okay? There's a lot of ways that that battle could have went very wrong very quickly. And I don't know, what more can I say? In terms of large ships, though, let me just do something really quick here, guys. Let's do this. In my opinion, you gotta keep in mind, okay? You gotta keep in mind, you know, what the reality happens to be. In the game, you're talking about how much money these things ultimately in reality, you're talking about how much these things ultimately cost. Okay? What they ultimately cost to purchase and equip versus how much the enemy is going to be spending on their stuff. Like, you know, for example, I can take a Magnus, you know, A-class and fully equip it, and it winds up being like over 3 million in credits, okay, to do the whole thing. Whereas I can take approximately 3 to 4 Orions, fully equip them, and, well, let's find out what happens. Now, it's been a while since I've played, so let me see if I can find a notebook really quick here, guys. 1 second. Okay. So I want to be able to break this down to like a price point comparison, because in my opinion, that's very important in this game. Okay, to break it down that way. In terms of a price point battle, you know, in terms of getting the most bang for your buck, you know, what can you do with the smaller ships, for example? Okay. I got my notes out right now, guys. Give me a minute while you leaf through them here. Let's see here. An Orion A with no cloak. The base price is 121,750 credits. And that's just the base price. Essentially, you can get these things fully upgraded, and they can range anywhere from like 121,000 to approximately 317,000, give or take. That's just for one Orion A-class vessel. Okay. Compared that to, let's see here. Compared to the Magnus A-class, like I said, that's going to be about $3 million to fully upgrade. So, now let's see first of all if I can take 3 Orions, which are only, now this would be like the base price. These are basic stock Orions, without upgrades. These would only cost realistically around 125,000 credits in the game. Multiply times 3, and that's way less than 1,000,000 credits. Which is what you're starting out with. If you, oh no, we want him out of there, don't we? Which is what you're looking at if we're talking about a Magnus, okay? So that's approximately 300 plus thousand credits, maybe 400,000 plus credits, versus almost 1,000,000 credits or more, okay? Let's see if this works. Who's got more bang for their buck? This little team here of 3 Orions or the Magnus? Alright, let's do it. I can't let my allies have all the fun, can I? Now the Magnus will want to target you though, so we will, I guess, let our allies have most of the fun here. Bingo. Perfect. Yeah, so this is expected to go very much in my favor here. No doubt at all that this is going to be a very easy battle. I've got a rear gun I'm not even using either. Shouldn't even say that was just too quick. Let's see, our buddies are in fine shape. Well, you know, mostly fine shape. He's fine too. So the Gallo, the Senator, and the Granite are just fine. Okay. One second, guys. You ever have to sneeze and then you don't have to anymore? Oh yeah, I hate that. Okay. So that's my argument basically, is that it's not about which of the biggest ships is the best. Because my argument's always going to be it depends on how you use them in a real game. Okay? Depends on how much money you have to invest. Do you take that 1,000,000 credits or that 3,000,000 credits and throw it into the biggest, baddest Magnus you can create? Or do you take that same sum of money and buy a whole fleet of smaller ships instead? You know? Okay. It'd be like asking what's better, you know? A group of 4 level 5 laser turrets or a Magnus. Okay? It's all going to depend on the situation. Okay. But yes, obviously in terms of the Orion matchup, or sorry, the Overlord matchup versus the, there we go. As far as the Overlord matchup versus the Magnus matchup, yes. Statistically speaking, you're going to have an easier time using the Overlord to defeat a Magnus. And the Magnus, although it can win, it will struggle. Especially if it's just equipped with the default equipment. Likewise, the Overlord's going to have a hard time too, but you can still come out on top pretty easily, assuming you know how to use your ECM properly. If you do not know how to use your ECM properly, that's a different story. And when I first started out playing this game, I was absolutely horrible with using it with using ECM. Like every time I hear the little beep 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 beeps, it'd be like I'm either launching it too late or too early, and then you get hit. And then I'm thinking to myself, what's the point of trying to focus on killing the enemy if I also have to focus on trying to stop missiles. And you have to stop the missiles because missiles are powerful. There's no doubt about it. Okay? When you saw how quickly that battle ended, when it came down to even the three Orions versus the one Magnus. You know, and they're just shooting like, what, 2 missiles at a time? Okay? But within, I would say, what was it, like 20 seconds, 10 seconds or so? We'll say 20 to be fair. Within about 20 seconds, 25 seconds, the Magnus was destroyed. Okay. You know, as far as large ships, my little brother, for example, he likes the Ares, to be very fair. So in terms of selecting your, what do you call it, your flagship, like for a fleet, it's really your preference. I wouldn't suggest a Creon, for example. I've heard some people like the Thunder class. I really don't think that there's any real difference between, well, there is. Let's not lie. There is a difference between a Thunder and an Orion. I prefer the Orion because I like to typically point my face towards my opponent as I fight them. And the Orion has, I believe it's 4 forward-facing weapon hardpoints versus the Thunder, which only has 3. Okay? And the one strategy I use when I'm facing off against large groups is as I retreat, I shoot missiles. But you can do that with either ship, with either the Thunder or the Orion. But you don't need that much speed either, so... I prefer the Orion, though. It's just a preference, though. So no big deal. I've really never used the Venture or the Drake. Yeah, I still love the Hornets. Ridiculously fast, and you can have like a fleet of 6, fully equip them with missiles, ECMs, lasers, max engines, shielding, and you better believe it, they can tear through, they can easily tear through a Magnus like no one's business. Okay. So yeah, I guess that's really it. So my conclusion is, if we're just talking about a straight up battle between the Overlord and the Orion, sorry, correction, the Overlord and the Magnus, no modifications, no added weaponry, just default ships as is, the Overlord definitely seems to have an advantage. No question about it. Okay? No questions. Of course, if I came in guns blazing with the fully equipped Magnus A-class, that could be a different story. Even against a fully equipped Overlord, it could be very difficult. Because I can put a lot of level 5 lasers on this thing, and that thing could be shredded. But, likewise, if I could somehow face someone who uses the same strategy, fully equipped Magnus, level 5 lasers, all I would need is a fully equipped Overlord with like a ton of, missiles being fired from military-grade launchers, interceptor missiles. I could tear a Magnus to pieces. No problem. So, but defaults, yeah, really, guys, really, the Overlord is better by default, in my opinion. However, there's one argument that can be taken into consideration. The Magnus is really technically more like a carrier, okay? These things can be equipped with, I think it's 6 or 8 fighters. Now, I'm not sure if you can stick, like, another Magnus inside a Magnus, okay? Because things get really weird. Like, if you've ever played this game enough to notice it, you can fly up to a base with the Magnus, and somehow, even though the base looks a lot smaller, somehow the Magnus still fits inside the base. Okay? And you know these things aren't, like, docked externally, so, like, you can't see them out, like, you can't see them outside docked. No, they're inside somehow, they're docked inside. So, I think if anything should be improved with this game, it should be scaling. Like, the scaling should really be improved and fixed, like, a lot. Definitely some scaling issues in this game. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know. But yeah, so... But if you want to make the argument that I can take a fleet, dock it on my Magnus, and then overwhelm your Overlord, well, I can also have a fleet follow me, and then it's the same thing. Okay, so... But then again, it really does come down to a matter of preference. Which ship would you prefer to use as your flagship? You know, hey, please comment down below, you know? Do you want something small and deadly? I'm sorry, fast and stealthy, like the Hornet? Do you want something unconventional? Maybe you want to fly a hauler. You could do that. You can do that. Do you want something a little more robust and a little tougher, like the Flyer? Or do you want like the first level ship out of the shipyards? Maybe you want an Orion. Or maybe you're okay with plopping down a couple bucks and getting the access to the Thunder class. Do you prefer having a Thunder class as your flagship? Or maybe you want to be a little unconventional and go into battle sporting a Crayon. Nothing wrong with, you know, piloting a giant freighter into battle, right? Or maybe a light cruiser. Or, you know, this thing calls it a destroyer, I guess, but whatever. Maybe you prefer the Ares. Personally, I like speed, weapons versatility. I'll say it anytime, again and again. I like the Orion. But in terms of having, like, huge fleets of deadly stuff, I'll take Hornets any day. No problem. In this game, you really never need a huge fleet unless you want to face off against, like, a very powerful computer opponent. Okay? But even then, there's other ways to do it. Okay? There's other ways to win these type of battles. Okay? All you gotta do sometimes is, like, create, like, a small outpost. Maybe, like, a military base. 4 turrets, I guess. Pick your favorite ship, and you're fine. You can defeat an entire faction, basically, with very little effort. If you know how to do it. Anyway, guys. Do hope you enjoyed the battle between the Overlord A-Class and the Magnus A-Class. Stock battle. Default stuff. Okay. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you got something out of it. Guys, if you have any more suggestions for me, by all means, please comment, question down below. I love taking suggestions. I love constructive criticism, you know. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these. What happened was I got a new computer, because I still had some money on, like, an old credit card that was being, I guess basically, the account was being terminated. But I had so much money built up that I forgot about, and they're like, hey, want your money or not? And I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. So got that, you know, got the new computer, and I got my got a new emulator, right, for the old Nintendo. And I've been doing a lot of the older games on my Nintendo right now on the emulator. Basically taking a break from this thing. I've also been having some fun playing BitLife, so that's new for me too. Yeah. Again, if you know my backstory, right now I'm out of a job because I have bad epilepsy. You know, on my bad days I'm in bed. On my good days, I can do this again. In the summertime, I hope to go hiking again. But when I'm not hiking, when I'm having a good day, I can make a video. But, you know, I always appreciate some feedback when someone says, hey, could you make one of these? You know? If the game requires money, I can't do it. I have no funds, okay? Any funds that I can get, I've got to beg for it. I don't like begging, so at one point I was going to go onto Steam and maybe try playing some Star Trek, but Star Trek requires that I register for stuff. I don't like the idea of having to register to play a game, you know? I come from an era of people that, you know, you go to the store, you go to Best Buy, right? You buy a box. The box has a CD in it, right? You pop it into the computer, you load it on your computer, and that's it, you're done. There's none of this downloadable content stuff that you gotta pay extra money for. Nope. You got the full game right there. That's it, you're done, okay? And you got full access. Warcraft 2, Battle.net Edition, boom, full access. I didn't have to pay anything extra to go into Battle.net, you know. At the time, I was a huge fan of the franchise, a huge fan of the game. I didn't care if I had to put my name onto their database to play online. I didn't care, you know. I loved playing the computer anyway. It didn't really matter either way for me. I used to play back when they had when Kali was still a thing. Guys, look it up. It's spelled K-A-L-I. Okay, you can play a ton of games on Kali. And I did this back when I, you know, didn't mind begging a little bit for money. I was given the money to purchase that, and that was cool. Then I could play Warcraft Online, and this was before, you know, Battle.net Edition came out. But that's the era I came from. You didn't have to pay extra money for a game once you purchased it. Okay, it didn't happen. You know, you plopped down the money for a game, you put it on your computer, you're done. And right now I'm in a bad position where I don't have any money of my own. You know, I don't have any money of my own anymore. I just don't. So, and if I do get a hold of any money, I've got to save it for necessities like food or clothing or whatever, you know. So unfortunately, dropping money on a game it's not something I can afford. Right now I'm going through kind of a bad spot. Got to move out of the house soon. Some issue with the landlord, so that's not cool. But oh well, it happens. So me and the family got to get out of here, and that kind of weighs heavily on my mind. So anyway, so if you don't see me making anything right now, it's because I've been depressed, and it's been a little rough. Winter's also very bad on my body and on my mind, so the epilepsy symptoms kind of kick in pretty hard in the winter time. So if I'm not in bed sleeping, I'm just kind of moping around. Like I said, I've been watching the impeachment proceedings. Kind of boring, but hey, it's something to do. But yeah, enough of me yakking. I mean, this was like what? It's supposed to be like a 5-10 minute video, and it turned into like a, I don't know, like what is it, like 30 minutes now? Oh no, almost 40. 40 minutes. Oh goodness. Hey guys, that's enough. Please, questions, comments down below, okay? I do hope you enjoyed the battle. That was it? Yeah. Okay, cool. And let's... What we forgot to do, we're supposed to sign off properly by hopping into a ship and sailing off into the distance. That's what I do, right? Okay, let's fix this. Let's do this properly. Okay, let me hop into a ship here. What's this thing? Ooh, classy. The Hawker. Yeah, that sounds cool, I guess, right? Alright. And this is Justin Ponrelli of the Hawker. Signing off. And saying, let's get a bounty first, shall we? Let's do this thing. Oh, very nice, dead body. Oopsie. What did you do? You shot me. Yeah, you know you don't. No, you don't. Get out of here, punk. That's right. I think I am. No, I'm okay. Yeah, that's right. Justin Ponrelli of the Hawker saying, guys, until next time, questions or comments down below. I appreciate your feedback and constructive criticism. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Guys, see ya.